hate, but they know I'm working my ass off. Infatuated with that hustle shit, commit felonies with my mask off. I graduated with a couple nicks, then hit a couple licks and got halves off. Progression, yeah. All I know was how to move up, no downgrades, no back steps. I was the same L on the school bus. I'm the same nigga that'll meet your girl and be like, hey baby, choose up. And I came in here with a bunch of goons, so when we come through, excuse us, for real. No a nigga never play games. If it's by the dollar, you know I got the product. Nigga just holla, I even take change. Rule number one, we don't use names. Rule number two, stay in your range. Cause I don't do nothing on credit until you get paid. I don't do no fronts with the cane, nah.
You abandoned me.
I catch a groove like do a leaper. I'm trying to do more with her than do a feature. I check the web, they out here chewing me up. Fuck it, fade away, I left that Lucania bucket. I heard from someone you said you could be us. Nothing, you know my city like the new Korea. Bust it, all these discussions over who could see us. Hush it, I sold them basements out, let's do arenas. Crushing, she looking, I'm blushing, I'm lying, I'm touching. I need this shit to be tooken up, I got accustomed to it. Fuck a leap of faith, I took a jump.
Right. What's happening? What's happening, man? Welcome back to the Second Chance Success Podcast, man. I want to say what's up. Happy Friday, everybody. We up in here again. We done made it through another week. And for my people that are powerhouse and through the week and going into the weekend, big shout out to you because I know how that thing go when you try to make some large happen and come into fruition. All right, man. First of all, if you're on here, you're tuning in later, or you're tuning in right now, I want you guys to remember that we have the Second Chance Success Village. Again, that is the Second Chance Success Village, right? It's a group of dope people that are all together. We got everybody in there, man, from the rappers to the artists to business owners to real estate agents to everything. It's a community of individuals that are just like-minded, looking for that success and the way to get to the next level. You get different things in there. You got early releases on interviews. I do my best to provide private, different, unique content, different motivational things in the morning, throughout the day, the weekend, things that prompt you to be better and to do more and become more. So again, the Second Chance Success Village is located in my bio. Go join the village now, bro, and take your shit to the next level, bro. So look, today, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be discussing a couple things, actually. First thing I want to do is, there's a video that came out. One of my brothers sent me, man. One of my good brothers, Jalil Vester, I interviewed before. He sent me a video, and it stuck out to me over a couple parts, but there's one I want to like push out on, right? And it talks about the process of becoming a boss and remaining a boss and how it looks like being a boss, right? The next thing I want to do is, because I got good reviews and people wanted to hear this again, the 5 books that I'm reading. The 5 books that I'm reading, it's a combination, forgive me, of the books I read in the last couple of months and the books that I'm reading currently, right? And what I'm focused on. And it's just a little bit of that to let you guys know, if you guys are readers, go out and get them. If you listen, go on to Audible. They're going to send you to the next level. I promise you, it's what goes on in my mind. If you see me moving, you'll see that a lot of the things that I'm doing is based off of the information and the knowledge I got from those books. So it's an opportunity to take that information, give it to you guys in a more condensed way, but also give you the point to share where my points of knowledge and where my moves are coming from, right? So it's not like I'm leaving everybody in the blind, being really transparent here. So without further ado, I want to tap in and get you guys going. Let's get that video, man. This is my guy, Myron. I believe his name is Myron Golden. I could be wrong. I think it's Myron Golden. And the thing about Myron Golden is a dope individual. He does business consulting for individuals making millions plus, I think even billions. In the video, he talks about how he made $15 million in 1 year. I got his book. It's so dope. I got to reread it because you got to like literally break it down and apply it over and over and over. But Myron Golden he's a leading business entrepreneur. Business consultant. He's an entrepreneur. And what he does, he follows like biblical instructions. So even if you're not spiritual, or religious or whatever, you can utilize the stuff that he teaches. I promise you, man. So let's get it popping. I'm gonna play the video. Let's look at it together.
Excuse me, sir. Yeah, what's up?
Question for you.
Yeah.
Is this your Rolls Royce?
Yeah.
And what do you do for a living out here in Tampa to be able to afford a Rolls Royce?
I am a consultant,
Yeah.
business consultant.
How long have you been a business owner for?
I've been a business owner for 39 years.
And could I interview you real quick? I go
Sure.
all over the country just asking business owners advice to new entrepreneurs.
Sure.
What was the most amount of money that you made in a single year?
Most amount of money I've ever made in a single year, $15 million.
$15 million. Yeah. And have you ever been broke before?
I was broke for the first part of my life, then I made millions of dollars, and then I was broke again, and now we've set it up in such a way that that doesn't happen anymore.
So what separates middle class from wealthy people in today's world?
Poor people and middle class people feel like everything's expensive because they pay for everything with money they've exchanged their time for, and they feel like they're paying for everything with their life because they are. Wealthy, creative entrepreneurs, we pay for things according to our creativity. In other words, we create an offer to pay for everything we buy, so everything costs the same amount.
And do you believe in God?
I more than believe in God. I trust God.
Listen, man, look, he said some dope shit right there, bro. Two parts of that. I personally experienced two parts of that, right? The first part, he was like, have you been broke before? He started laughing. You see that? He was like, bro, come on. Like, of course. He said, the first part of my life, I lived broke. The next part of my life, and this is when he became an entrepreneur. I know a little bit about his story. At first he was a garbage man, like at one point, right? He grew up poor and then he became a garbage man, was barely making no kind of money, right? Then he started his businesses and whatnot, and then he started making millions of dollars. And he went broke again, right? Because of certain missteps. And now he's at a point where he set things in place so he doesn't have to be broke again. I know a lot of people want to be bosses. A lot of people want to be the term of entrepreneur. A lot of people want to be business owners and all these different things, and it's not to dispel that or push people away from that, but people have the motivation, but they lack the discipline. And I speak about this throughout my profile. People have the motivation, but they lack the discipline. See, motivation is not going to do much for you for the long term if you don't have the discipline for it. So you can be motivated to be a boss. You can be motivated to be an entrepreneur, but if you don't have the discipline to be any of those, you're not going to make it very long in that spectrum. That's just the total honest truth, right? So there's going to be times that I've had times, right, where I grew up. You guys know my story. The first part of my life, I was poor. I grew up in the projects. I had nothing, grandma poor, single. At one point, I was homeless, all that kind of stuff, right? And then when I got the business going, I was still kind of broke. But then when stuff took off, they gave us our first amount of money. I was like, oh, shit, I got a cool salary now. Then everybody started putting it in. But I didn't have the discipline to take on all that money, right? And so for myself personally, I didn't really understand how to apply the knowledge I had to make sure that I was going to have the discipline to last long, right? And so I fumbled a bit. I fumbled the bag for a minute, right? And what happened was I ended up broke again. Now, the thing about it is once you're a person of value, it's hard for you to go $0 broke because you're a person of value. So the value I created in the process to get the money had kept me from being $0 broke. Had I not have created that value, I could have been $0 broke. But technically, I was broke. The lifestyle that I was living before, I didn't have the money to sustain anymore because I didn't know what to do, right? I didn't know the right questions to ask. I didn't seek out the proper mentors, and I didn't have the proper things in place to make sure that it didn't happen. Then now I came into the era, and this is just recently, I came into the era where we have put the things in place to where we don't have to worry about that no more. I don't have to worry about going broke no more. I don't have to worry about the business going this way no more because we put the proper things in place, right? But those are different things that, in that middle time, I was depressed, I was stressed, I was going through all these different things. And those are things you're going to experience as a wave, right? We're talking about entrepreneurship, we're talking about being a boss, we're talking about doing these different things. It's a whole wave, right? And you got to be willing to surf, ride those waves. And when the waves crash and you fall on your face, you got to be willing to get back up and hop on and keep surfing. You can't be like, oh, I'm done, I'm wiped out and it's over because you weren't ready for it then, bro. You feel what I'm saying? This shit takes time. This shit takes resilience. This just takes a piece of you that is deep down inside that you never even knew you had in order to make it for the long term in this, right? So I love that he broke down those parts, being broke, getting on, being broke again, and then getting on, but putting things in place to where you don't fall off again. And that's one thing I want to tell you guys is like, right now I'm super focused on long-term vision. I was talking to one of my guys yesterday and I said, man, right now I'm really looking at the forest, right? As opposed at the one point I was walking through the forest and I'm looking at the trees, which I believe that you start off doing, some of us start off doing, but then now I'm looking at for a forest view. All right, from this high up, what areas could I have the most impact? What can I use the 20% on to be able to go, right? And so now my main goal right now is to make sure that anything I'm doing, the 20% of what I do is affecting 80% of everything because I'm looking at that forest view, right? And so I want to make sure that you guys get that information, right? It's the bosshood goes up and down, up and down, up and down, but make sure you're focused on that and you're willing to ride those waves when you're ready to be a boss. But now I want to get into some of the books I'm reading, man. I'm gonna get that to you guys. Yo. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna run that video back for you guys real quick. Run that video back for you guys at the beginning.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, what's up?
Question for you. Yeah. Is this your Rolls Royce?
Yeah.
And what do you do for a living out here in Tampa to be able to afford a Rolls Royce?
I am a consultant.
Yeah?
Business consultant.
How long have you been a business owner for?
I've been a business owner for 39 years.
And could I interview you real quick? I go
Sure.
all over the country just asking business owners advice to new entrepreneurs.
Sure.
What was the most amount of money that you made in a single year?
Most amount of money I've ever made in a single year, $15 million.
$15 million. Yeah. And have you ever been broke before?
I was broke for the first part of my life, then I made millions of dollars, and then I was broke again, and now we've set it up in such a way that that doesn't happen anymore.
So what separates middle class from wealthy people in today's world?
Poor people and middle class people feel like everything's expensive because they pay for everything with money they've exchanged their time for, and they feel like they're paying for everything with their life because they are. Wealthy, creative entrepreneurs, we pay for things according to our creativity. In other words, we create an offer to pay for everything we buy, so everything costs the same amount.
And do you believe?
Yeah. And let me dive into that part real quick, man, real fast for those who just hopped on. We just talked about the bosshood and being a boss goes through these waves, ups and downs, up and downs. You're going to be broke. You're going to have some money, be broke again. But then you put the things in place to where you don't have to be broke again, right? Like Young Boy never broke again. But another thing that he said is poor people pay for things that they use their time for. Wealthy people create things. You got to be a producer, bro. You got to make yourself a producer and not a consumer. That's the key to getting wealthy, right? That's the key to building wealth. You're not going to be able to build wealth being a consumer. That's just the way it is. And this may be a different level of conversation for some people, man. And I get it because when I was first given the information, I had to like bite it down and chew on it and digest it. But what he meant by that is an individual that goes and works for 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, goes and takes the money. They might go buy some clothes, buy a bottle, buy a room, whatever the case may be, to get away from the stress of doing whatever they're doing, right? But at the end of the day, a wealthy person, say they want to buy this Rolls Royce, what they're going to do is be like, you know what, I'm going to go create a book. I'm going to go create a book, and I'm going to go mass market this book, put it all over all social media platforms, charge this amount of money for it. It's going to take about this much to make this. I'm going to pay my taxes, pay whoever I had to do with this. I'm going to take the rest of the money. I'm going to buy a Rolls Royce. That book just paid for that. You get what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Like I just bought some dry. If you guys seen it, I just bought a top and bottom gold grill, right? The total cost of that, was almost a couple bands, right? And what I did to pay for that is I actually got a contract at another establishment to do 6 weeks for a certain amount of money. I took that money and I pulled out of it and I utilized it in another return investment. And I took that investment to return and I paid for my grill. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't take out money from what I do on a regular, my main business, and use it for that. I'll go get a contract and I'll invest it somewhere and I'll take the returns and I'll put money on there, right? Or I can sell a book, take my money from my books, take it, I'll go pay on that. That's what you do as a creator. That's what you do when you want to build wealth. You create shit. You're a person that produces and you use that to invest and get your shit back, right? All right, man, my bad. I know I went a little bit on that video, but we're going to go over to these books so we can get it in, man. I know you guys waiting to see those. All right, this is one of the books I'm reading. I read this, How to Win Friends. I got it in person too. Bow. How to Win Friends and Influence People, bro. I know a lot of you guys probably heard of it. It's one of my favorite books. It's an old school style writing because it was written 100 years ago or some crazy stuff like that. The first time I read it was in prison. I started practicing it. One of the things in there that really stuck out to me was it was talking about you'll attract more bees with honey than shit or something like that. Probably didn't use shit, but you'll attract more bees with honey, right? And what they mean by that is you find the person's selling point. Like a lot of us want to go in there with what we want. Like say I'm working with my team. I know that this individual doesn't like when I speak to them in a firm tone. So I know that they can produce at a high level if I speak to them in a soft. I don't forget that. I know they can produce at a high level in general. What sense does it make to me coming back and keep talking to them in a firm tone, knowing that they don't like that, which means the quality of what they do is not going to be at its best, while I can come and be like, hey, and speak to them and communicate them in a way that they like and get the best production out of them, right? You're going to attract more bees with honey. You get what I'm saying? And that even goes to find out what people like, find out what people's desires are, what their motivations are. You work with that. to get the desired results. Right. And I really love that because it's intricate in any point of life, bro. Even any point of life, even with your kids, there's only so much ass whooping you can get. There's only so much yelling you can do before it's like, all right, bet what's another way to work around this? My oldest daughter, she got a mouth on her, right? She got a mouth, smart as hell, she smart ass mouth, right? And I get it. For a long time, I ended up going against it because it's like rocking with a female little version of me, Then I started realizing, okay, what can this skill be good at? Because you like to advocate for yourself. That's really what it is. You like to advocate for yourself. And honestly, some of the stuff she be saying be kind of true, And so what I started doing was I'm like, okay, well, what are some ways this skill can be useful? All right, I could put you in positions where you're debating. I could put you in positions where you're digging into information. You're combating that information because that's what you like to do anyway. And I started working with her that and building that skill out, right? And it started working for her to where she could advocate for herself and present like logical reasons why what she's saying is real. So now it's not a thing of a bumping point for us. Now it's a learning point for us, right? And it's a skill that we're deciding to utilize and take outside of the regular realm of things. That's the point of attracting more bees with honey. You feel what I'm saying? And this book dives into way more things, man, way more stuff about just gaining friends, gaining whatever kind of relationship you want to have with people. It's something talking about remembering everybody's names that you encounter. The one dude used to walk around, he'll say a name or write it down and use it in a sentence. People feel more close to you and they feel like you care more about them if you say their name. And I've been in meetings and business meetings where I done sat with individuals and they're like, DEVONTE, every other sentence, some DEVONTE. And I, in deep down inside, I'm like, damn, okay, you know my name. It's something that we want. People want to hear their name. People want to know that somebody knows and somebody cares, right? So I definitely, I recommend reading that book, like, right now, if you possibly can, especially if you're dealing with people. I don't care if it's in customer service or it's in high-end business ownership. Read that book, study that book, take the principles out. You're going to want to have a highlighter. You're going to want to take notes on the side. You're going to want to apply them immediately because it's going to work out for you, I promise. All right. Start with why. This is actually a book that I'm currently reading. I'm going to put that down. Hold on real quick, y'all. This is actually a book that I'm currently reading. It's called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. This book was recommended by one of my classmates in the college I'm in, the college I'm bound. We're in there. He started talking about the golden sphere, the golden circle, how outside the circle is your what, the inside of the circle is your how, and in the middle of the circle is your why. And the best, most effective leaders are the ones that can inspire through their why. Right, even Nipsey Hussle said it's like the highest form of action or human action or love you can do is to inspire somebody else, right? And so the most effective leaders know how to inspire, and the way that they inspire is through their why. The breakdown, some of the breakdowns they used in this was they were talking about how some people buy MacBooks. Right, I had a MacBook. I have a Mac desktop. I'm an Apple product fan. I don't know about you Galaxies. I don't trust y'all and all that other stuff. Androids, that's kind of weird. If the green pops up, I text you. We're definitely not going on that date. But real talk. But he was breaking down the MacBook. He was like, well, if you really do the research on the MacBook's not the best computer. It's actually not as good as a few other computers, but it's the brand, right, that was sold out. The employees are sold to the why. You can't pay some of them high enough because they're sold to the major vision of why it is they do what they do, right? People are sold on the branding of what it is, right? Now, I tell people all the time, especially people I mentor in business, is that people are not buying into the product per se, right? They're buying into you. That's how you get your loyal customers. That's how you get your loyal clients. They're buying into you. So when they buy into you, they're buying into your why. So when you start building, and I just really had to go, this changed the way that I actually approach both of my businesses right now. I went back and I started with why. Like, why do we do this, right? And it took me a few different tries, especially for my primary business, nonprofit, Pro-State Potential. I'm like, well, why are we doing this, right? And it dove down. Our mission was always to empower young minds and awaken bold leaders. And then I just added a couple words. Well, we want to empower young minds and awaken bold leaders in underserved communities. And there's a reason for that, right? Is because there's so much genius in these underserved communities, but they don't have the platform, resources, or people to bring that genius out, right? And that's our why. And the thing about it is your why, and whatever you guys do, your why should be demonstrated in what you do, right? So if you start with your why and why you're doing what it is that you're doing, you'll be able to pull out what it is that you do, because now you're like, okay, this is why I want to get it done. What would serve that, right? And then as you put out those pillars, like we do mentorship, research, navigation, social emotional programming, then you put down the how. Are we pairing with a mentor? We going to schools, partnering with schools. We do this, etc. Right? But it has to start with your why. And I even dove that even deeper and put that in with my personal life, right? And my personal life was like, all right, bet. Look, I want to know why it is I'm leading the way I want for my generations. And my generations to come, how do I want to lead them? Well, I got to start with the why. Why is it that I want to do this? To leave a legacy so none of the generations after me have to come behind me like they did. I'm coming behind and struggle like I did before, right? And so from that, I was able to build out my how I'm going to do it, and I was able to build out my what. But you want to start with your why, and that'll be your vision. David Hayes. Oh, what's up, my brother David Hayes, man? Come on, I appreciate you, man. That's my guy. Had me on the podcast. Throwback, brother. We got to get you on here soon, too. We got to get you on here soon. All right. My book, man. I'm reading my book. And I'm not just saying that just because it's my book, y'all. I haven't even started reselling this book yet, right? But it is for sale. but just say it. Just throw that out there, right? Pro said the art of becoming more. This actually was my chief of staff is reading it. A few other people in the college have bought it, and people have been reminding me of it. You know, in a time where I was kind of in the dark. I was kind of in a dark space, and my chief of staff reached out and was like, "Man, have you reread your book? Like, this is who you need to get back to." And I was whatever. I feel like this is like narcissistic to read my own book. What if I'm gonna read my book for it again? I've seen it. And so one thing I was like, you know what? I went and I dove back into it. And I was like, let me read my book real quick, man. And I started getting back to the point of my why, really, and like looking at it like, hold on, these are some principles I held dear. I need to go back to my programming that I had when I was in there that got me to where I was now and just apply it to where I'm at in this point in life, right? So in that, I have three different parts. It comes from your becoming. Becoming is where you're becoming the individual that you want to do, right? You're working on putting the visions, the goals, and everything together to build out this individual that you want to bring out into the world. Then it goes to the living. The living is when you're testing that information, right? You're going in, the stuff that you build out, you're going to classes, you're reading different books, you're doing personal development, stuff like that, right? That's the living part. The third section is the being. That's when you've encompassed everything that you wanted to become and that you lived, and now you have the understanding of it. It's something that's just naturally, it's your automatic reaction now. It's something that you automatically do. That's when you're at being. And I'm gonna tell you guys this. Every single level is going to have to go through those parts. You have to go becoming again. You're going to have to be living it again. You have to be being it again. I'm going through the process right now. Right now, I'm in the becoming stage of the next level I want to get to. But that book literally breaks down those three different sections and how to do it and how to send your life to the next level. I recommend that highly. Oh, I appreciate it, man. Good shout out, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, bro. That's dope. That's dope, man. I love that. For real talk. And then breaking the habit of being yourself, how to lose your mind and create a new one. I got to give a quick summary on that one, but it's so deep. This one is so deep, bro. This was shout out gave to my told for me to read by my brother Rashad Norris, powerhouse in the game. And the thing about that, it talks about quantum physics, but it makes it really, really practical, right? About evolving into the other version of you. There's multiple versions of you. So what they're saying is there's a version of you that's unsuccessful. There's a version of you that is successful. There's a version of you that has this life and that life. And the day-to-day habits, the way you create your state of being, with your thoughts, your feelings, and which pours into like this aura around you, it depends on which version of you exists, right? And so my mind, every time I wake up, I wake up and I think of, I'm gonna crush this day. I'm a beast. And to the point where I feel it. So my thoughts put it out there, and then my feelings attracts it to me. So then it creates this aura around me to where I'm killing it all day, every day. Like, it gives me that. But you're not going to be able to manifest anything until you're able to create that state of being by thinking, putting it out there, literally feeling what it is that you're thinking, creating an aura around you, and bringing that stuff to you, right? And I definitely highly recommend you read that, guys. So this is the book that I'm really reading right now. Also, I'm reading another book. Make sure I see it. It's Developing the Leader Within You, right? By John C. Maxwell. I used to read a lot of John C. Maxwell books when I was incarcerated. It helped me a lot in my leadership. This book right now, I realized I had to do it because I'm in a different position of leadership. And when I say different position of leadership, I've been the executive director for about 3 years now. But I mean, now I'm thinking on a higher level, right? As a CEO type thing. And I need a new form of leadership perspective to do that. So this has been bosshood for me. One thing that I want to stand out, that I want to share with you guys that is giving me, it said there's 3 types of leaders. It said that a proactive leader, I believe it said proactive leader, knows how to get what they want. A philosopher knows what they ought to want. And an effective leader knows how to get what they ought to want, right? And so what they mean by that is they take priority first. A lot of us, we don't know what priority is. We go for this, we go for that, we go for that, we go for this, and we end up not being effective. Going back to what I said before, you have to look for the 20% that's going to leverage you to that 80, get that 80% of stuff done. If you have a team, you want my whole team, I have it written down on a list. And if you guys watching it, this is the truth. I look at every one of them and I say, which one of these, how many of these guys are doing 20% of getting 80% of the organization done? And I pour more into them, right? Because they're going to get the leverage point to have us be the most effective organization that we can possibly be. So that's a jewel. Again, I'm telling you, you want to find the 20% in your team, in your habits, in your behaviors that gets 80% of that stuff done. And you'll be right, man. Again, developing a leader within you. So those are the 5 books that I'm reading right now, you guys. I know it was a short show today. I got another thing to hop on and get going. And my day-to-day has been crazy lately. But I hope that I gave you guys some good love, some good inspiration. Again, go and join the channel. The link is in my bio, the Second Chance Success Village. I promise you, you will get so much content. I have so many things coming on. I got a webinar series dropping pretty soon for you guys. I got an academy coming out. Bro, I promise, just go join it, man. Go rock with us. And until then, y'all, tap in, DM me if you need something. You got somebody to talk about, or you want to pop it with me, send a question, send it to my DM, man. Much love, y'all. Be successful, be prolific. Let's go.
I ain't no connoisseur, but I like this kind of story. I got nothing to do with who the fuck they think I'm screwing. 9 times out of 10 I had them, then I blew it, but I need some Dua Lipa. I'm trying to do more with her than do a feature. I checked the web, they out here chewing me up. Fuck it, fade away, I left that Lucania. Fuck it, I heard from someone you said you could be us. Nothing, you know my city like the new Korea. Bust it, all these discussions over who could see us. Hush it, I sold them basements out, let's do arenas. Crushing, she looking, I'm blushing, I'm lying, I'm touching. So why you being extra, huh? Being extra. She's a European and she know I'm seeing extra. Got a main character, but you could be an extra.